I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. Today is Monday, Moon Day, May 26th. And the energies in the day adds up and reduce to number 4 vibration. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. So today's energy adds up and reduced to the number 4 vibration. And whenever the number 4 is present, this brings in opportunities to make your life so much better in ways that might not be so comfortable, because on a day like today, things will get our attention because it's painful in some way. You know, there's something around our situation today that is a little bit achy. There's some discomfort, and the discomfort is because there's time for a change. And the change comes in where we secure the foundation. We secure the foundation by, moving some things around however we choose to. Like I think for myself, when, say a past month or so, the energies for me within that month was a 4 energy. That month was a 4 for me. And within that month, that's when I became clear on certain things that I do that makes it hard for me to become successful in my venture with trading and investing. So instead, that's when I set new rules for myself. And of course, for me, I need an incentive when I'm setting rules for myself. So that's when I'm like, okay, my goal for this month is to do XYZ, ABC. And then each day I do this thing to show that I follow the rules. And then at the end of each week, I get 10% of whatever I make from the week. And that 10% of whatever I make, it's something that I need to splurge on. It's something that I need to spend on something fun. It shouldn't be spent on food or bills or anything, but it should just be a reward for me. So I feel like whenever the number 4 is present in our lives, like say you're in a 4 personal year, and being in a 4 personal year, this year might be tough for you, as you might find yourself just feeling just overwhelmed all around. And it's because you got to take a step back and look at ways how you keep getting in your way, and what kind of steps or what kind of plan do you need to make for yourself in order for you to win. And I mentioned how the month for me was a 4. How I got that number is I'll add the year and the month, my year and my month into the year. Is that what I do? I forgot. But I play with the numbers all the time. And even in each day might add up to say collectively today, the energies in the day adds up to the number 4 vibration. And if you add that into your life path, whatever number you get is how you might be perceiving the day personally. But I don't want to get too far away from the point, because like I said, with this numerology stuff, like astrology, you could really go down the rabbit hole. But with the energies in the day adding up and reducing to number 4 vibration, yes, big energy around stability and security. And what are some things that you might be doing that makes it hard for you to build? What are some things that you might be doing that makes it hard for you to build? And if ever you find yourself feeling like you're building, something might happen, and something might happen, and it's like everything you build crumbled and you lost what you build and even much more. And that's because the foundation isn't secure. Where for me, like I mentioned, I took a step back and looked at my patterns and how I kept breaking my rules, and how I kept disappointing myself because I would take 2 steps forward and then 3, 4 steps back because of the lack of discipline, because the foundation wasn't strong enough. And as I start to create a secure foundation for myself, it's like I'm seeing that that's what was missing all along. And that's how it is with everything. Like say, you know, with me creating content and having a schedule, that number 4 energy helps me to secure the foundation and create the schedule that's going to help me to build and create content here. Say you're someone who wants to change your lifestyle when it comes to your diet and the foods that you're consuming. You're going to have to look at the foundation, and, you know, from looking at the foundation, you set up a plan for yourself and you follow through with it. What are your incentives? And as I'm maturing and getting older, when it comes to the foods I choose to consume, I don't need to reward myself for that, because my incentive is good health. That's my incentive. My incentive for going to bed early, or the time I'm supposed to every night, regardless of whatever, my incentive is that I feel better. You know, that's my incentive. So for some things, the incentive is really clear. And for other things, the incentive is not so clear. Where I think of, say, a person, you know, today their irritation might be around their finances, because today's a 26 and 2 + 6 is 8. And the number 6 energy and the number 8 energy both deal with the material realm. And those energies could cause us to overspend because we're trying to complete ourselves through the things that we purchase. And from trying to complete ourselves through the things that we purchase, some of us could find ourselves in situations where, you know, one might be living way above their means. And today's a day where, you know, there's irritation and frustration, and one might feel like they're annoyed with the kids, or they're annoyed with the coworkers or boss or whatever, but really they're annoyed with the bills, or they're annoyed with the thing that they really can't afford. Like I was watching something recently, and this lady went to BMW to get her car serviced. And when they told her how much it was for the service, like she started yelling. And it's like, lady, you clearly can't afford that car. You clearly can't afford that car if you're fussing over how much it costs to service that car, because another car would be a lot cheaper to service. So, you know, today's one of those days that would remind me of the lady sitting there yelling because, you know, the oil change and everything else then came up to 1,000 and whatnot. And I think she thought it was going to come up to, so I understand if she was yelling because maybe they led her to believe that it was going to be $100 and something and they upsold her, but weren't clear on upselling her. I could understand that, but it seemed like it was regular maintenance, whatever she went in to get done. And it was $1,000 and something, and they're letting her know, like, you could pay with a payment plan. And for me, you know, today's one of those days where, yeah, something comes up and it's a great opportunity to take a step back and be honest. Because say if for someone there is something coming up around finances, and a person uses this energy to take a step back and say, okay, do I really need this? Do I really need that? Can I sacrifice not having this or that right now because it's not important, and instead, you know, create more financial stability and security in my life by being debt free and working on my goals and whatnot. And then later I buy this thing or the next. You know, today's one of those days that will call us to like question our financial situation, question the things that we have and why we have the things that we have. And that might not be the case for everyone, because everyone might not be living way above their means. But if you are living above your means, when it comes to today's energy, is definitely going to stand out, with the day being the 26th and the energies in the day adding up, reducing to the number 4 vibration. Because also too, with today's energy, I could see someone in a situation where they're living above their means, but then with the day being the 26th, still feel like they're behind, because even though the car might be too expensive, or the community or the house might be too expensive, they still feel like they want to upgrade or they want something new. And when it comes to, say, the energies in the day, it's like you're going to feel the truth of it, even if the mind is trying to convince you of something else. And for me, I like feeling free. Like, I like feeling free, and I don't like the idea of feeling like anything owns or controls me. Because like I was mentioning in yesterday's video, like I think of the person who says that they want freedom. They want to move from one career to the next. And they say that, but then they keep getting shiny eye syndrome, if that's what it's called. They keep getting distracted by the new shiny things that come out in the world. And then they jump and they buy into it. And the more they buy into these things, the more they're creating like this shackle around their feet. I think of the devil card in the tarot. The more they're tying themselves to the system that they're trying to free themselves from, because they keep getting distracted by these material things that are supposed to complete them. And I feel like if that's something that someone's dealing with today, like today's energy will definitely amplify it. It will amplify it. Also too, for some, today's energy could encourage some of us to overspend in the name of trying to complete ourselves in some way. Also too, when it comes to today's energy, some of us could find ourselves looping in our thoughts, like questioning certain things over and over and over and over again. And if it would remind me of, like, say that feeling of you open the fridge and there's nothing in it and you close it, but then later you find yourself opening the fridge again. And it's like, just accept that this is what it is when it comes to something, and what are some things you can do to make your situation better. How could you set up a plan for yourself to help you to win? Like I said, with me, when it came to trading and investing, I had to set up a plan for myself with incentive to help to build up that self-discipline and self-control within me that didn't come natural when it came to that, because other things were factoring in. And this is where we got to know ourselves and realize the patterns, where something just isn't working. But on a positive note, we have a new moon in Gemini today. And the spirit guidance the spirit guidance for today is Elk, and Elk comes out in the reversal position. In the upright position, the Elk brings me to it brings me to connection, like it brings me to discernment, because I'm looking at the sun and how it's, you can see its connection with the antlers of the elk. Like I think of being guided. I think of being guided when it comes to a thing. But in the reversal position, to me, the elk as spirit guidance brings me to disconnecting from something. It's almost like unplugging. It's like unplugging, yes, is how I would see the elk energy when it comes to something. And when I say unplug, what comes in mind when I think of that? I think of detaching and how important it is to detach from things in order to see the truth in a thing. I think that's the power of detachment, where it's like, it's through detachment we're able to be discerning, if that makes sense. Because when we're too emotionally invested or connected to things, we're not seeing it for what it actually is. So a lot of the times we could be defending things, and these things we shouldn't be defending, or protecting or trying to preserve things when really we should be distancing ourselves. Where when we're detached from a thing, we're able to take a step back. We're able to take a step back and look about and ask ourselves, like, okay, does this make sense for me? Does that not make sense for me? Like, for example, I remember when I was ready to make a change in my world. And this was 2 years before I made a major change in my world. But I knew I was ready for a change. And I remember just coming back from Cali, and, at that time, it felt like things were booming as, the banks, it felt like, there was opportunities to get a new car, even though I didn't need a new car. And the car that I have, at the time, my car is paid off and it's reliable and it's a really great car. I'm proud of my car, but everybody around me, they're getting new cars and they're making major investments. And, others are also looking at me and asking, like, aren't you going to do this, or aren't you going to do that? And I remember saying to someone, I don't remember who exactly, and it's like, I love my car. Like, why do I need to get a new car when my car is not giving me any problems? It looks really good. I like it a lot. I'm proud of it. Like, why would I just trade it in to get something, to get payments just because I can? And I totally understand, people have to do what they got to do. But I'm talking about in situations where we don't need to do that, and we're just doing that because everybody else is doing that. And around that time, like, I had to remind myself of my goals and what I wanted, and remind myself not to get distracted by what everybody else is doing. And I could have also seen how people are creating traps for themselves. and causing themselves to be even more stuck in situations that they claimed they didn't want to be in. I was able to detach from the situation, take a step back, and look how, certain decisions are problematic. Like, yes, in the future, when I want certain things, like, I'm gonna be able to get them, and I'm not gonna get them and have to be a slave to them, because for me, freedom is everything. There are some things in this world that some people think, everybody should have, and I don't want those things, because for me, those things will take my freedom, and I want to feel free. So when it comes to today's energy, to me, there's this need to be detached when it comes to something that you're looking at. So something today could come up to cause you to feel some type of way. It's like you wake up and it felt like, maybe a cut opened up or whatnot. There's this feeling. And like I said, if someone is living way above their means and not being realistic where that's concerned, you're going to feel it today. And this is where one might need to, and it's different, I think, when, I think of a situation where the creator might call someone to take action and put them in a situation, and it might be unclear for them how they're going to make certain things happen, because it might be unrealistic to others. Like, how are you going to start this business when you don't have enough funds in your account to start? Or how you're going to pay the bills when, I feel when the creator puts us in situations, then the creator will take care. I'm not speaking about that. I'm not speaking about the person where the creator put them in a situation, because, that's the path they're meant to be on. I'm talking about situations how we get shiny-eyed syndrome. We feel like we're not enough, and we're looking for material things to define our worth. And then, we go the path of resistance, and we force our way into certain situations, to have certain things, to look a certain way or be accepted by certain people. And then it becomes problematic. That's what I'm talking about. There's a difference. Let's pause for a bit. I am proud of the services that I offer and excited to tell you about them. If it would be your first time booking with me, then I recommend the natal chart and numerology awareness coaching session. For a while, that was the only service I offered, along with the 30 minutes tarot reading, which is still available if you're interested. I noticed a pattern. At the end of the natal chart and numerology coaching sessions, some of you would ask me for a follow-up service options for additional clarity and guidance to assist you with whatever you're going through at the moment. I kept saying, I'll look into it. I don't know why it took me so long. Finally, I have created that option, along with the service option to book a solo return chart reading for those of you who are strategic and like to plan ahead. Everything you need to know is within the description box below. Let's get back into the video. When it comes to the tarot, we have the Queen of Cups, and she came out in the reversal position. So with the Queen of Cups energy in the upright position, it brings me to intuition. It brings me to emotional awareness. In the reversal position, it brings me to, say, insecurity. It brings me to not being able to trust their intuition, or feeling like they can't trust their intuition. And what I'm getting from that in this moment is, I think of how some of us will ask the universe for an answer, or we ask for an answer, but the answer that we get is one that we might not feel brave enough to act on it. And because we don't feel brave enough to act on it, we dismiss that answer, and then we ask again, because we want to hear what we want to hear. We want the universe to tell us what we want to hear. So then we feel like we can't trust ourselves. We can't trust our intuition, when in all reality, we might not want to do what it is that we're being called to do. Like, I think of, a person might be in a situation where they're being told to give something up, and they're having a hard time hearing that truth, because who am I if I don't live in this community? Who am I if I don't drive this car? Who am I if I'm not associated with this club, this group? Who am I if I'm not dating this person? So because, that's what we're really focused on, we don't want to hear what the intuition has to say, because it's not telling us what we want to hear. So instead, we'll feel like I can't trust my intuition, or I don't know what to do. And for me, it's not that you don't know what to do, is that you're afraid to do what needs to be done. It was a pleasure sharing this message with you. I would love to hear from you. And you could do that by dropping me a green heart in the comment box below. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.